I'm Jason of the All Things Open team. I'm here with Lauren. Please introduce yourself to the All Things Open community.
Sure. I'm Lauren Hanford. I'm the VP of Product at TideLift. TideLift is a software company that partners directly with open source maintainers. We pay them to uphold standard security practices in their work, and then we package that with software that we sell to the market. So my team connects that maintainer value into the larger customer value story.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that work. What excites you about helping open source maintainers get paid?
Everything. There is so much joy in being able to reach out to someone who's doing largely invisible, thankless work and to have a monetary way to say thank you. Even if they can't accept money for employment contract reasons or what have you, they're so delighted to feel seen. And then the outcomes of sustained investment over time are really incredible. So both of those things.
That's amazing. So what are some of the challenges with paying and supporting open source maintainers?
Yeah, I think it's actually, honestly, organizational will at this point. There are a plethora of ways at this point that folks can invest in their open source maintainers and packages. At TideLift alone, we've sorted out the contracting, the regular income, the tax paperwork, all of those things. Those are not the hard things anymore. So I think it's the organizational will, and I think there's competition in these organizations for what are they going to spend money on, and AI is really capturing a lot of the budget right now.
Absolutely. I've heard that many, many times. What is the state of open source maintainer report?
This is a report that we put out on a regular basis. We're in our third year now, where we go out and survey hundreds of open source maintainers about their lived experience. What are they experiencing in their day-to-day? How have things changed for them over time? And so it's a really big data set at this point with now touch points, historical touch points, where we can learn about some of the sort of micro and macro trends that are happening for open source maintainers.
Well, that's what I want to ask next. What are some of the biggest takeaways from the report that you're finding?
Yeah, so the big headline for me and the work I do day to day is that paid open source maintainers are going to be 55% more likely to implement critical security and maintenance practices. This is a lot of the industry standard stuff that we're seeing in the OpenSSF scorecard, the NIST Secure Software Development Framework, etc. But there's a lot of other good stuff in there too. There's information about the differences between paid and unpaid maintainers. Where is that money coming from? How has that changed over these years of looking at the data? There is unfortunately some information that open source is getting grayer, so we see ourselves in this picture and we don't like that. But it's actually a real problem, right? That there are so few new maintainers coming into the space that are under the age of 25, as an example. Other pieces in there, we talk to maintainers, what are they seeing in terms of AI and how's that tooling going to impact them? Maintainers right now are pretty skeptical about that. They see that as creating even more noise for them, especially in the security vulnerability space.
Got it. Thank you. Is there anything else from the report that you want to add that highlights or?
Hey, this is Todd with All Things Open. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. We've got a lot of new content coming we think you're going to be interested in. One final favor, be sure to go to allthingsopen.org, allthingsopen.org to see everything that we do. Back to the video.
Yeah, I would say, this survey report that we just put out is what it is. It's a survey. We have another report that's coming out very shortly, and actually a blog post tomorrow, that's going to say, okay, we went out and invested in open source. What impact did it actually have on the enterprise users of these packages? And so again, we've got year-over-year data now where we can show material differences in the risk posture and the risk surface area for these customers, and how that drives down cost, basically, and time.
Excellent. It sounds like that feedback loop is rich with data.
It is.
Do you have any tips, best practices, or any new tools that you've been using lately that you can share with the All Things Open community?
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit of a Luddite when it comes to technology, but I notice here around on the booth floor that there's a lot of information about SBOMs, and I think a lot of people are questioning, what is that even good for? Is this performative? So I would just encourage folks here to ask questions in your organization. Do we know what open source we're using? And if you don't, an SBOM can be a great way to generate that picture. But what really matters is then what do you do with that information? And so I want people here to think critically about the people behind their software and their software supply chain and what's going to make it more secure.
Got it. So for those not familiar, what is an SBOM and why are they important?
So an SBOM stands for Software Bill of Materials, and they're becoming more important because the federal government of the United States has put into executive order that they're going to be required as we move ahead into a more regulated time in the software industry. There are different ways that people are able to generate visibility into the software that they're using down in their application stack, but that's kind of quickly becoming a pattern or an industry norm.
So we're here at All Things Open with 5,000 of our friends that love open source and technology. Do you have any advice you can offer the conference attendees to apply what they've learned beyond the conference? What do they do when they get home?
So the first thing you need to do is make sure to connect online with everybody you've met here. What's really wonderful about open source is the community around it. And so I think taking time to have these interstitial conversations, to sort of chit-chat between talks and connect with people. We're all so down on our phones now between sessions, so that would be my advice, is to connect with people, really connect when you're here, and then go get on your phone when you get home and connect online.
That's great advice, Lauren. Appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.